Welcome back. It's Thursday, our look at finance. First Vice President Jenny Montgomery Scott, Stephen Crowell. And you've been here long enough, you should just start introducing yourself.
No, I told you before, David, I really like when you do it.
It's in your contract.
Yeah, I like it.
That and no green M&Ms. We got some stories. We're gonna cover something that you've probably heard about in the headlines, which is what's happening in Cyprus. We've also got some news on the New York State budget. Let's go far away first.
Yeah, let's go far, far away. Like you were saying before, it's beautiful weather, the Mediterranean. Yeah. It's a great vacation spot, but there's a lot going on right now. This is Europe, and this is one of the tiniest countries over there, Cyprus. And if you think of the map where it is, it's one of those little tiny countries right next to Greece.
Yeah, we're going to show that. Some visual aids today.
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
looking at the European Union flag, which one of those.
Salute?
Well, perhaps one of those stars may be a little tarnished. Come here, if we can show the map, just so that everybody at home knows where the country of Cyprus is. If you're not familiar with it, Cyprus is right over here, just south of Turkey.
Yep, so we've been hearing so much about Greece,
Yeah.
not a lot about Cyprus, and this has just come out of nowhere for a lot of people, and they're like, why does it matter?
Small island, split in two. Half is Cyprus, obviously the country of Cyprus. The other half is Turkish territory, wall down the middle, country of just $1.1 million. We're talking about the Cypriot side of Cyprus.
That's right, correct.
First of all, let's tell folks what's happening in Cyprus right now.
Okay, so what's really caused all this commotion is the fact that the European Union has been funding the banks in Cyprus for a little while now. And the European Union, Brussels has said the banks need to be solvent. Cyprus has to get its books in orders, and they haven't been able to do that. And so Brussels has come back and said, if you don't get this done under control, if you don't get this cash flow issue corrected, we're not going to give you the next check. And so like what they did with Greece, like what they did with Ireland, Cyprus is right on the edge of the knife right now, and they are resisting doing that. And so the solution that Brussels came to them is let's put a tax on all of the deposits that people have, the money in their bank.
Wait a minute. A tax on the deposits they have in the bank. So they're looking to take money out of people's bank accounts.
Correct. I mean, think about it. You pay taxes on your income, you pay taxes on the food you buy, the gasoline and everything else. Well, this is the money that you made after paying all of that tax.
More tax.
More tax on top of it.
Well, that's not a very popular thing to do, and we tried to swing this net wide and pull it back in.
Yes.
And at home, you may be saying that's crazy. They want to go into your bank account and take your money and money that you've saved, that you've put away.
People say, can you do that? You can't do that. That's it's got to be against the law. The governments won't allow it. And this is the precedent where all of the other Europeans are getting nervous. People all over Europe are going, well, wait a minute, if they do it there, they're going to do it in our country. But here we are on the other side of the pond.
And the thing is, forget about Cyprus, because it's already happening here.
Yeah, most people don't realize it. We don't call it a tax, but essentially the same thing's happening.
Yeah, so you put your money in your bank, you put your savings, and believe it or not, the Fed is actually doing exactly the same thing to the amount of money you have sitting in the bank. And insane. The people are rioting on the streets of Cyprus right now. This is happening, though, because of interest rates here in this country.
Yeah, it's done differently. Instead of a tax, what is expected is, over the last 100 years, people put money in the bank, and they expected a reasonable rate of return. And every month they would get a dividend payment, and people, when they retire, they live off of that money. Maybe they've got a CD or a money market rate, and they're used to getting this dividend payment every month. When the Fed artificially lowered interest rates below inflation, lower than what they should be, people stopped getting those checks. Well, who was getting the money? If the banks aren't paying the interest, but they still get the use of your money, that's kind of a tax.
Yeah.
That's kind of a way of saying, that's money that the depositors throughout, quite a long time in our history have become accustomed to. And now all of a sudden, nope, you can put the money in the bank, but we're not going to pay you.
Yeah, so Jim Rickards, he's the senior managing director for Tangent Partners. He tells Yahoo News today that interest rates currently at 0, should be at 2 or 3% at this stage of the recovery. That adds up to a whopping $400 billion a year. The banks are they're pocketing it. And Ben Bernanke, the Fed chairman, came out this week, said that rates were going to be held at 0 through 2015. So we've been at 0 for what, nearly 5+ years?
It's been a long time. That's right.
That's $2 trillion in money.
Well, some people have come and they've said to me, well, wait a minute, I don't understand. How is it stimulating the economy if it's taking money, dividend payments that would usually go to retirees, savers, and everything else, and they're not getting that money anymore? It's staying at the bank. How does that stimulate the economy? And there's been a lot of pushback with this, saying, you know, if interest rates should be higher, shouldn't that money be going back into the economy like it always has been?
Yeah, I guess I kind of like it in my bank account to spend it how I would like.
Yes. So what's happened over there, it's happening here, but this is just the beginning of the story. I think there's still yet to unfold.
It's just a sheep in different clothing. All right, so Cyprus, not so far away
Nope.
from what's happening here. And as you said, this is going to set the stage for what's going to happen in Europe. Cyprus could be out of Europe.
Correct. We'll know after this weekend. They're going to have to come out Monday and say this, and this will reverberate. The stock market, like you said, was down 100 points, you know, almost 100 points today. This is going to reverberate through all of Europe how this is handled, and in America.
Spent some time as a child in Cyprus. Nice country. Hopefully they can get their act together.
Fingers are crossed.
Let's come back to Albany.
Yes.
Never dysfunction in Albany.
With some good news, though.
Some good news. They have got one of the earliest budgets in history. I think it's like in, I don't know how many years. Since the earliest budget since 1976.
Yep.
37 years. Did that math quick.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, I like that.
Because I was born in 77. Minimum wage increase. One of the main things. They've been talking about this for quite some time. Minimum wage going to be increased in increments through 2015. You know, this budget year, next budget year, 2015, up to a whopping $9 an hour.
You know, David, we've talked about livable wages
Yeah.
for a long time now, about people in this community needing to make an income that can support their families, that can pay the bills, put food on the table. And this is a step in the right direction for a lot of families that right now, quite honestly, are struggling to put gas in the car and food on the table. So it's not enough, but this is a good positive step in the right direction.
Yeah, I know we, you know, when we talk about this before we come on air, $9 an hour, and most people at home are saying $9 an hour. It's a step in the right direction, but still, it's probably an extra, what, $100 in somebody's pocket, a paycheck?
It's not going to change their life, but you know, we've got to do something because everybody knows their costs of living are going up, and we have to do things for there's a lot of families that are struggling.
All right, well, step in the right direction. Also, middle-class families getting a tax cut, $350 a year. Quite a wide swath for middle-class families. It's making anywhere from $40,000 a year to up to $200,000 a year. An extra $350 in their pocket.
Yeah, you know, it's as long as it's not another tax increase.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people who are pleased about that, definitely.
And there is a surcharge that will stay in place. It's a high-income earner. The folks that are lucky enough to be making, couples lucky enough to be making $2 million a year. Single folks like yourself who are making $1 million plus.
I wish.
It adds up to $1.9 billion extra in the coffer. So that, again, asking the wealthier, the 1%ers, I think this is probably more than the 1%ers, but the higher percentile.
Well, this supposedly temporary tax.
Yeah, it keeps on getting renewed.
Keeps on getting renewed. But they're probably most able to do that where, you know, the typical family that's struggling and making $30,000, $40,000 a year. I think they're pretty tapped out at this point.
Yeah.
So I think there's some smart things in this budget.
Some smart things in this budget. They're going to be working, I guess, throughout the weekend to get the bills all done. The bills are already printed. Now they just got to all agree on them. So keep tuned to what's happening in Albany. Stay tuned to what's happening in Cyprus. A lot happening over the next couple of days.
We're going to be covering it, and I think next week is going to be very interesting to see how this will shape the rest of the year.
Yeah, I know we say that it seems like a world away, but the things that are happening there will definitely have an impact here, one way or another.
Absolutely.
Definitely worth watching. Stephen Carlton, first Vice President.
Thanks,
I'm always
David.
smarter when we get done with these segments.
You know, it's fun to do. You always make it fun. I appreciate it.
Well, I make it fun, you make it smart, so it works. It's a win-win situation.
The dynamic
for both
duo.
of us.
I like that. Yes.
Stephen Carlton. Thank you very much, sir. See you next Thursday.
Thank you.
And you can see this segment and all our Look at Finance segments. They're always on the website, looktvonline.com.